Trevor Deely was an Irishman who went missing on the 8th of December 2000 at 4:14 a.m. after CCTV captured him walking on Haddington Road in Dublin. He had been returning home from his work's Christmas party in the city centre. Deely was 22 years old at the time of his disappearance. The investigation into his disappearance and possible murder was reopened in December 2016. As of September 2020, his whereabouts remain unknown. Background: Trevor Deely was born on the 15th of August 1978. His parents are Michael and Ann Deely. He is the youngest of 4 siblings. He grew up in Naas, County Kildare, in Ireland. After finishing school, Deely studied business at the Waterford Institute of Technology but dropped out in his second year. He subsequently completed a computer course in Dublin. In May 1999, he began working in the IT department of Bank of Ireland Asset Management on Leeson Street. In late November 2000, just weeks before his disappearance, Deely flew to Alaska in the United States. He flew on a discount that his friend procured for him due to his role as a long-haul flight attendant, which his friend described as free. He went over to see a girl that he had met in Dublin during the summer while she was holidaying in Ireland. Disappearance: the Christmas party was scheduled for Thursday, the 7th of December. After drinks in Copperface Jack's and the Hilton Hotel, the party moved to Buck Whaley's nightclub on Lower Leeson Street. Deely left Buck Whaley's about 3:25 a.m. He started walking in the direction of his apartment in the Renoir complex, on Serpentine Avenue in Ballsbridge. There was a heavy storm that night with gusts as high as 60 or 70 miles per hour, and there was also a taxi strike. About 10 minutes after leaving the nightclub, Deely arrived at his office, and was let in after calling security. While in his office, Deely made a cup of tea and spoke to a colleague, Carl Pendler, who was working the night shift. He also checked his emails and made a note of things he needed to do and work the following morning. He left the office at 4:03 a.m., taking an umbrella with him, and continued in the direction of Ballsbridge. Around this time he rang a friend of his in Naas and left a voicemail. His friend described the message as saying, "Hi, Glenn, I've missed you there. Just on my way home, all going good, I'll talk to you tomorrow," or words to that very close effect. His friend deleted the message, not regarding it as significant, and investigators never sought to retrieve it. CCTV footage shows that a man dressed in black was waiting outside the gates of the bank for approximately half an hour before Deely arrived. When Deely arrived, they had a brief conversation. 2 minutes after Deely entered the bank, 2 more men arrived at the gate. While they have since been cleared as colleagues of Deely, the man in black remains a person of interest. By the time Deely left the bank, this man was no longer waiting outside. At 4:14 a.m. CCTV footage shows Deely walking past what was then the AIB Bank on the corner of Bagot Street Bridge and Haddington Road in the direction of his flat. About 30 seconds later, a man dressed in black passed by the AIB Bank. Gardaí said that they believe this is the same man who spoke to Deely outside his office. This man has never come forward to Gardaí, despite numerous appeals over many years since the disappearance. This footage represents the last known sighting of Deely. Investigation: Deely's absence from work the following morning was not seen as a cause for concern, as it had been a late night. Additionally, his flatmates were away that weekend, so they did not know he was missing either. Only when Deely failed to show up the following Monday were alarm bells raised. His work informed his family. After asserting that nobody had spoken to Deely that weekend, they reported him as a missing person. Over the following days, Deely's family and friends put up hundreds of posters, handed out thousands of leaflets, and went from house to house and business to business inquiring if people had seen him. His friends were able to obtain the CCTV footage used in the investigation. Dead. SGT Michael Fitzgerald, who worked on the case from the beginning, said, "I've never worked on a case where the family were so proactive. Unfortunately, The delay between Deely being last seen and reported as missing meant that vital time was lost. The Garda Subaqua team searched the River Dodder and the Grand Canal but did not find anything. They were unable to drain the Grand Canal basin as it would affect the structural integrity of the surrounding buildings. Deely's sister, Michelle, said that she rang Trevor's phone a few times the weekend he went missing and she believes that it rang out. According to Dr. Philip Perry, a senior research fellow in the Radio and Optical Communications Laboratory at Dublin City University, a phone in 2000 would have gone dead within seconds of falling into the water. However, Michelle said she is not 100% sure that it did actually ring. Two Gardaí traveled to Alaska to speak to the girl who Deely had gone over to see before his disappearance. Deely's sisters also traveled to Alaska separately for the same purpose. The trips did not produce any leads. Recent developments: Deely's whereabouts remain unknown and the case continues to spark interest. A special documentary hosted by Donald McIntyre aired on TV3 in 2015. December 2016, a new investigation was opened. The following April, enhanced CCTV footage was released, leading to the announcement by Gardaí that they believe that the man dressed in black seen behind Deely on the Haddington Road footage was the same man that he spoke to outside his office. That same month a €100,000 reward was offered for information. In August 2017, Gardaí began a search of a 3-acre secluded area in the Dublin suburb of Chapelizod, about 8 kilometers from where Deely was last seen. An informant alleged that Deely was murdered on the night of his disappearance by a Crumlin-based criminal known to Gardaí. The gang he was in was involved in the drugs and prostitution trade in the area where Deely disappeared. The same gang was investigated for the murder of Sinead Kelly in June 1998. The informant said that Deely and his alleged murderer had not known each other and it was a chance encounter. Although a gun and drugs were found during the search, investigators concluded that they were not related to the case, calling the site a stash area for criminals. The search was called off in September and Gardaí said at the time that they had not found anything that would assist them in the case. See also list of people who disappeared. References. External links: 1, 2, 3. Series of articles in the Irish Times by Rosita Boland. 4. Timeline in the broadsheet.ie.